What looks like to be targeted story by Dees. So remember this tapped shoes incident? I attached the art so just to refresh your memory. As you may already know, when I lived in Sweden I had a serious few incidents of harassment. Having my door opened repeatedly even after changing the locks. Being followed and my bike being unlocked. Someone was upset with my exposing information. And they sent goons in to show me how vulnerable I am. It is how they keep people quiet. Then a couple months ago I walk into my kitchen. Someone had come into my house and stacked my shoes. And these things happen, they don't leave a note telling what I am being harassed about. So it is up to me to try and figure it out. Then another incident happened 2 weeks later. I had bought a 3D postcard of a sea turtle, just fantastic, so real looking, I'm proud of it. Walked in from town and set it down on my kitchen counter, thinking about getting a frame for it. Hours later I realize it is gone. I know, I sat it down right there, how could it be gone? I searched the house, nothing, so I then knew they were back. I have zero idea how they got in this time, or when. There was only an odd number of hours. So weird. Then 3 days later I am walking to my mailbox. And there the postcard was face down in the snow at the end of my driveway. It was face down. And I thought it was just paper. Imagine my surprise to turn it over and see my 3D turtle again, so it got returned. Probably they just flipped it out of the window of the car. Then what happened next? I am on my computer and go for an important document and it is gone. It took years to create that compilation of info and no way to recreate it. It was right there where it always was, and now it is vanished. So I go to the backup hard drive. Gone from there too. Whoa. So I contact tech support to help me figure out how they got into my computer and find that it had been hacked and had access evidence of someone been there. So I activated FireWire and security codes best I could, but I am thinking, who could this be? I was not doing any art that was hard-hitting. And it seems that they are escalating the harassments. This is someone trying to get attention for something immediate. Suddenly I realized exactly who it was. Here is the story. About 3 years ago I took on a very mysterious client and began doing a series of Christian-based book covers. His pen name was Soul Esprit, and he would never tell me his real name or anything about him. Eventually he wrote that he was living in a van, really. Somehow he was writing books about health, religion, and secret societies from Havana. Well, as weird as it sounded, I just bought it because I had no other info on him. So we did 6 book covers. I always got paid on time, so I just went along with the whole thing. Except a few months ago Jeff Runts wrote me and said that a woman contacted him saying that this Soul Esprit had scammed thousands of dollars from another lady. So I got in touch with her and got in touch with Soul. And after a lot of questions realized that it was true. Then he admitted that she gave him the money, but that it was not a scam. It was easy to see he was lying. I had just completed the 7th book cover for him. He had already paid me for it. But I withheld sending him the art until this whole thing was repaid with the lady who was scammed. Well, she turned out to be quite a detective, and traced his IP address and other clues that led right to a family man on the East Coast who was an ex-politician who had worked together with Henry Kissinger in the 70s and 80s. His real name is Sydness. We found pictures of him. So I emailed the pictures to We Found of Sydness and asked if it was him. And I said that he better tell me because I was going to find out for sure anyway. In his response he said that it would be the last email I ever got from him and that it was a very bad idea not to send him the art. that I better send the art, that I was going to be sent to a FEMA camp. Then he was gone. I was not really scared. I figured he was on the East Coast. Then the shoe incident. Then the postcard missing. Then the computer hacked, and he popped into my head suddenly. And I could see the urgency of the harassments, so I prepared the artwork he wanted and mailed them off. And all the harassment stopped. I believe he must have simply hired some professional on the West Coast to start paying me visits. And if I didn't send the art, things would have gotten pretty ugly. I attached the artwork in question. How ironic that the title is Everything is a Test, haha. So I guess I solved the stacked shoes mystery. Pretty sick stuff, but what can you do?
This is one of two logos being used for advertising the Hunger Games. The trilogy book series and the current Hollywood film of the same name is intended for initiating the world's youth into the Luciferian doctrines of the New World Order. The film opened on March 23rd, which is 3 days after the Northern Hemisphere spring vernal equinox that witches and Satanists everywhere celebrate as a high and holy day, a time when they offer blood ritual sacrifices to their master Lucifer Satan. Presumably, throughout the 3-day period between March 20th and 23rd, child sacrifices were being performed in great unusual abundance in preparation of the Illuminati promoted film debut. Soul Esprit here. The Illuminati globalists massively advertise this book and film to sell millions of book copies and break box office records. These are the upper echelon generational crime families of the world, and who are at the pinnacle of the world's international child abduction and pornography industry. The movie is thus overtoned with subtle hints of child pornography, as exemplified by the image displayed on your screen. Look closely at the face of the girl Jennifer Lawrence, playing the character of Katniss Everdeen in the film. Notice the superimposed shadow cast on her left cheek. Can you discern its shape? Look at the subtle detail in the shadow, and the positioning of the end of the shadow in relation to her silicone augmented lips. Can there now be any doubt whatsoever about the real meaning behind the Hunger Games book and film project? It is blatant child pornography. Why has nobody noticed this and exposed it? The pornographic imagery was hidden in plain view, and who but a true servant of God, or a Luciferian initiate, 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 or a Luciferian initiate could see it? Yet it appears that the Illuminati child-sacrificing pornographers are not so subtle after all. They are no longer hiding their intentions behind words and symbols with double and triple meanings, which is typical of the global controllers who set the agenda for promoting, through their Hollywood media, the group psychopathology of the current world culture. Presently, as all of humanity are about to enter into the globalist redesigned New World Order of total government tyranny, they have come out of hiding and are more bold and openly displaying their true intentions. You, the listener, must realize that the purpose of the graphic scenes of violence in the Hunger Games is to psychologically traumatize the viewer. When a child or young adult's mind is severely traumatized by any of various means, including viewing explicit images of death and destruction, such as are seen in the Hunger Games, the child compartmentalizes this experience by forming separate personalities to deal with the trauma. The emerging result is a dysfunctional personality without a conscience, devoid of emotions, or what is known in the literature as a psychopath. Serial killers are psychopaths. They lack empathy. They are devoid of any sense of remorse and do not care who they hurt in order to get what they want. Some of them are notorious killers, but most psychopaths appear as perfectly normal and function unnoticed within mainstream society. Most psychopaths appear as perfectly normal and function unnoticed within mainstream society. Most psychopaths appear as perfectly normal and function unnoticed within mainstream society. Many of those in positions of authority in your community are closet psychopaths. Nearly all in higher positions of government are psychopaths. The decision makers at the very top of the Illuminati hierarchy are calculating, manipulative, habitual liars, and they can be charming. Most politicians at all levels of government are textbook charming psychopaths. They are totally unconcerned about what happens to other people and are only concerned about themselves, striving for unmerited power by getting re-elected or reappointed. They are very adept at maintaining the illusion of their normalcy by mimicking emotions, but they do not feel anything real. They never feel sorry for their evil deeds. Look into the dark, coal-black eyes of a political psychopath, and you'll see what I mean. Such a diabolical personality is often made, not born that way. Many of those in positions of authority in your community are closet psychopaths. Nearly all in higher positions of government are psychopaths. The decision makers at the very top of the Illuminati hierarchy are calculating, manipulative, habitual liars, and they can be charming. Most politicians at all levels of government are textbook charming psychopaths. They are totally unconcerned about what happens to other people and are only concerned about themselves, striving for unmerited power by getting re-elected or reappointed. They are very adept at maintaining the illusion of their normalcy by mimicking emotions, but they do not feel anything real. They never feel sorry for their evil deeds. Look into the dark, coal black eyes of a political psychopath, and you'll see what I mean. Such a diabolical personality is often made, not born that way. Many of those in positions of authority in your community are closet psychopaths. Nearly all in higher positions of government are psychopaths. The decision makers at the very top of the Illuminati hierarchy are calculating, manipulative, habitual liars, and they can be charming. Most politicians at all levels of government are textbook charming psychopaths. They are totally unconcerned about what happens to other people and are only concerned about themselves, striving for unmerited power by getting re-elected or reappointed. They are very adept at maintaining the illusion of their normalcy by mimicking emotions, but they do not feel anything real. They never feel sorry for their evil deeds. Look into the dark, coal black eyes of a political psychopath, and you'll see what I mean. Such a diabolical personality is often made, not born that way. This is the intent of the Hunger Games: to create in a child viewing the film a traumatized, conscienceless psychopathic personality, one that lacks any concern for the suffering of others, one who views extreme violence and murder from a detached perspective as if it were only happening on TV and therefore isn't real. The Hunger Games movie is a group psychological experiment for desensitizing children to graphic scenes of extreme violence and for inducing mass psychopathology in millions of young people who constitute the next generation that will submit to the New World Order depicted in this dystopian Illuminati movie. It's merely a rehearsal for reenacting in their own lives what they have seen in an Illuminati movie in Hollywood. In failing to speak out against this perversity of justice, those professing Christianity in modern America are not only technically child abusers, but they truly deserve the judgment wrath of God. Just a casual review of online comments by adolescents anticipating seeing the Hunger Games movie reveals these children are literally insane. The word awesome is overworked to such an extreme that one is led to the conclusion that it comprises better than 50% of their total vocabulary repertoire. The wisdom of God Almighty dictates, don't participate in the decadent culture, and that would cause your controllers to tremble in a frenzy of utter terror. What will we do now? They will all decry in unison, fearing for their lives. How will we program them what to think, what to feel, what to do? We've lost our hold on them. Oh no, we're doomed. They're rewriting history as it unfolds. They don't care about truth. Facts mean nothing to them. The creatures who control the media are the literal offspring of Satan. They are not capable of the truth. I posit to you now, they are not even fully human. Understand that you are in a war, and without your conscious awareness, your enemy has taken you captive. Wake up. Wake up and realize what is being done to you. The psychic vampires are feasting on your mind. They are harvesting your very soul. They are assaulting you, raping your children, raping their mind. Make no mistake about it. You are entertaining them. You are the object of their behavior modification and mind control. Their objective is to use traumatic experiences to disassociate your mind, the mind of your children, and to form multi-personalities, create psychopathic behavior in your children, and thus prepare them for participation in a satanic New World Order global dictatorship. Coming soon to a real-life theater near you. Coming soon to a real-life theater near you. Coming soon to a real-life theater near you. Near you. Near you.
You bet that David Dees experienced this. Coming soon to a real-life theater
near you. Near you.